Ready? Hey, hey, hey! Welcome back to the show. It's Katrin, and we have another special guest for you today. We are in a theme of talking about astrology and how that can help you in your life, shift gears, improve it, or just find out interesting information. And today we have another wonderful astrologer. She's also a vibrational astrologer, as well as wearing a few other hats. She's the director of the Eagle Condor Center with her husband, Kathy Sanchez. I met her about a year or so ago, and she's just so authentic and real and has so many great insights. So, welcome to the show, Kathy. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Thank you, Katrin. First of all, I'm really, really excited to be here, and I really appreciate the invitation. And thank you to everyone who's listening as well. I hope that whatever comes through today connects with you personally and helps you in some way. Um, yeah, so about me. Yeah, so I'm a vibrational astrologer, and I actually, the person who you interviewed last week, Michelle Marie, and I work together. Um, and we are also, well, in addition to that, like you said, I'm a co-director of Eagle Condor Center with my husband, who's a Peruvian immigrant, and the two of us lead workshops and retreats here we're in Virginia, so we do that locally, and we also take groups to Peru for spiritual journeys to Peru, to help them to really get in touch with themselves, get in touch with nature, get in touch with all of the ancient wisdom that's there, and bring that into their lives in a way that's practical and useful day to day. So we do that through all the different things that we do together. And then, of course, bringing in the astrology piece as well, helping people to align with that so they're in alignment with the current energies. So, yeah, that's in a nutshell, I guess.
That's awesome, Kathy. I really love that. And I can't wait to someday go on that Peru trip. I've been eyeing it. So, not this year, but it's on my radar for the next year. It sounds like, I mean, you do so much deep work with people or have that ability. And also, from what we talked about, behind the scenes before we started, you also work with like beginners. So there's a big scope of that, what you can do and offer people, it sounds like, isn't there?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I really love helping people get in touch with their authentic selves. And the thing about both astrology and the work that we do with Peru and the energies that are involved with the natives and the nature itself, it helps people to really connect with that with who they are, and
Mm.
it makes it gives them permission to be themselves, like really themselves, and not have to follow somebody else, not have to, like, because all your life you've heard your mother tell you you should do this, for your own good or whatever, or society says, you have to go to school and get a degree and then go work and raise a family. And well, no, not necessarily. I mean, sure, that's true for some of us, but it's not true for all of us. So
Mm.
astrology and the work that we do brings that all together and helps people to integrate with themselves and really to express what's inside them, without having to be someone else.
I really appreciate that. I do some similar work and not through that lens, but really that excavating of the authentic self. And I know I work with a couple of other women and collaborate, and one of them has reached out to you to actually assist us with clients to help guide that or fine tune that. And that's one of the reasons I've become more of a fan of your work because it was really supportive in helping the client unlock. For themselves, what you said beyond that program. So Mom, if you're listening, I'm still listening to you, Mom. No, just kidding. Just kidding. Our little secret. But I've had to do that work for myself. And I feel like so many people are starting to do this more and more. Can you tell us maybe from the astrology perspective why it's becoming um so much more prevalent that more people are interested in tapping into that authenticity of themselves?
Yeah. Oh gosh, there's so much on in the skies about this right now.
Mm.
We've got all these planets that are going over what's called the zero Aries point. And
Okay.
that's because zero Aries is the start of the whole zodiac wheel. So as these planets, both outer and inner, in other words, the ones that move very slowly, the ones that are far away from us, as well as the
Mhm.
ones that are close, they're going over this Pisces Aries point, that Pisces is the end of the chart and Aries is the beginning.
Okay.
So as that happens, we're kind of coming into a new cycle for ourselves. We're kind of reimagining ourselves, rebirthing ourselves, but we're also doing it on a collective level. So it's really exciting. It's a little bit upsetting sometimes if you're not ready for that or not sure where you're going, but
Mm-hmm.
it's this tremendous opportunity. And if we can stay aligned with who we are, which is what
Mm-hmm.
it's all about, then it gives us this chance to go to the next level, to kind of ascend on a spiritual level as well as in practical real life terms, like doing what we really want to do, and leaving that job that we hate, and going out and pursuing the dream of opening that business or whatever it is that you want to do.
Yeah. I really appreciate that. Like it sounds like you're taking that unseen and these energies that you're talking about, but helping people do practical things like to live their lives in a better way. It's not just this like airy fairy thing that, at least in conversations that I have, some people, that's their interpretation of astrology because it isn't something many of us grew up with, right? At least in our
Right.
culture here in the United States. I know it's different other places. Leads me to a little question. How did you get involved with astrology and, you know, excavating authentic selves and going to Peru with your husband to take people on these spiritual journeys?
Oh gosh, I've been studying astrology since probably I was a teenager, and
Wow.
really it started because I had an inferiority complex,
Okay.
and I thought everybody else was better than me, and like I didn't know how to be myself in the world. So
Hmm.
I started searching, like, so who am I? What am I supposed to be? And astrology helped me to find that answer. It helped me to
Okay.
find what was unique about me. And the cool thing about astrology is, the planets are in a certain point in the sky right when you're born. And that
Hmm.
gives you kind of a blueprint because it shows how the energy runs through you. And
Okay.
when you know that, when you can see that, like on paper or on a screen or whatever, wherever you're looking at it, I mean, it gives you like permission to be who you are, because this is what was in the sky at the moment you were born. That's what was imprinted on you,
Hmm.
and that's how you are supposed to be. It's not only, you're not weird, you're not strange because you're doing things the way you do them. It's who you're meant to be.
Right. Yeah.
And
That.
then
Go ahead.
sorry, I was just going to say, with the workshops and the other activities that we do, you can like take that energy, you can see, understand it mentally, but then go out and actually exercise it, actually do physical exercises to integrate it and make it part of who you are. And that's what I love about doing both things, both the astrology and the one-on-one consultations,
Uh
as
huh.
well as the workshops, which make it real, make it practical.
I love that. And that, like, when you talked about the physical exercises, like that really helps embody it and anchor. And what you said that make it real. So, it's really useful for people. So I really appreciate that. Can you tell us a little bit a distinction between traditional astrology, what most people know about, and vibrational astrology, which is also something that you practice, or do you do both? Like, how?
Yeah, pretty much everybody who does vibrational astrology, they always bring in some of the traditional astrology, and
Okay.
it's really because it like traditional astrology is tends to be based on archetypes,
Hmm.
and a lot of people, it kind of, archetypes are built around stories, right? And stories resonate with people, so it's
Yeah.
easy sometimes to communicate messages by using those archetypes. The
Okay.
problem with the archetypes, though, is that it's not actually always accurate, because what vibrational astrology does that the other forms of astrology don't really do is
Hmm.
it gets to the core meaning of the planets, or the vibrations, or the connections between the planets in many different vibrations, for lack of a better word. But it shows like exactly what the energy is trying to do. And sometimes that goes along with the archetype. Sometimes it's a little bit off. It's not quite as the archetype says. So that's
Hmm.
why it's good to marry both of them, because
Okay.
you get that understanding, but then you also get core essential meaning, and that's always true, no matter what. And that's what vibrational astrology gives you, what's always true.
Oh, I love that. That's an easy, simple way for me to frame it and remember it. So thank you. Because I've been exploring that, not as an astrologer, because when I look at the maps, it's like overwhelming and gibberish. I cannot decipher it. So I come to one of you guys to help me. I mean, I have that love of it, but just I don't have that skill set. And but when I've worked with the vibrational astrology, it's really helped like get some answers or some maybe not answers, clarity to help me with what I'm already aligning to in my own energy, feel confident in a decision that I'm making instead of wishy-washy without going outside of myself to ask this person or that person, you know, how we can tend to do sometimes. So I love that. What is one of your favorite things about being an astrologer?
Hmm. Um, I think two things. One, for me personally, just like knowing myself better and knowing my family better. Like it's
Mhm.
really helped me to when I butt heads with my husband and I have sun square sun. So if what that basically means in astrological terms is we're always butting heads. We are like we see things differently. Like
Okay.
the way he understands something is different from the way I perceive something. And
Mhm.
yeah, so it's always that back and forth. But when you know that and you can look at his energy against my energy, I can also see, well, if I do things this way and just kind of open my mind and look at things the way I can see that he's looking at them, because I see that how that energy runs through him, then I can respond to that in a different way that I normally would and get all defensive and get into the fight mode. So it's helping with my relationships, but it also I love getting to know people at such a deep level. I have a lot of Scorpio in my chart, so that's like really really near and dear to my heart. I don't like the fluffy conversations. Hey, how you doing? Fine, thank you, whatever. I like
Mhm.
knowing who you are at your core and
Yeah.
speaking to that. And
Yeah.
that's what astrology helps me to do with people who come to me. So I love that.
Oh, that's awesome. That sounds like a real gift that you can give people and translate because you like to go deep like that. Um, I love it. So I want to ask you a couple more questions and then we're going to shift gears, but without doing like a huge overview of the astrology of what's coming, is there things that people can do or we can all use to use like upcoming astrological energy, excuse me, to best like to the best for our personal advantage? Is there anything collectively we can do or what insights do you have?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, as Michelle talked about this last week, but right now we are in a period of retrogrades,
Hmm.
particularly with Venus, and then soon in about what 9 days on the 15th, Mercury will go retrograde as well. Retrogrades are all about going within and reflecting and kind of re-examining and am I really doing things the way I want to do it, or is there something I need to let go of, something I
Hmm.
need to change, some perspective I need to make more clear to myself. So with both Venus and Venus, I should say this is also happening in order, right? So Venus went retrograde first. So it's
Hmm.
right now we're being asked to examine our own values, our own what's true to us. What
Okay.
are we showing up in life in a way that we really want to? Or
Mm.
again, is there something that we need to do that's shifting? Are we
Okay.
are we being true to our values? Are we being true? Are our relationships true to us? And are we being true to those people as well who we're relating with? So that's all
Mm.
Venus activity. And then when Mercury goes retrograde, then it's going to be like adding the mind to it, adding the perceptions to it. So right now we're kind of like going into our heart with Venus.
Okay. Venus.
And then with Mercury, we're going to be adding to our mind to it. So how am I perceiving things the way that's beneficial to me? Or is there a way that I need to think about what's going on in my relationships, in what I love to do, that I need to change up to make it better for myself? So it's those things are what's going on now. So sorry, I kind of got off the topic
That's
there.
okay.
You asked me for
Fascinating.
practical things. Right now, this energy with those two things going on, it's a perfect time to do a retreat. It's a perfect time to just take that alone time, give yourself permission to take the bath, if you only have an hour, or to go out in nature and take that walk, and do that often this month. And if you've got the means and you've got a weekend free, then do a weekend retreat, because there's also two eclipses going on now. So that
Oh
gives,
gosh.
yeah, exactly. With all of that, it gives you a chance to, like, for sudden insights, like downloads to come in about this, how I'm valuing myself, how I'm communicating. Is my heart in line with my mind? Is my mind serving my heart, or is it vice versa? All of that.
Okay.
So that's what we can figure out now by taking that time to go within. And Mercury, Venus are also really related to writing and just
Okay.
beautiful expression. So like doing journaling now that's a great activity as well, or poetry. You're going to find all kinds of things come out when you like automatic writing, for example. You just start
Mhm.
writing and all of a sudden you're like, wait, is that true? Oh my God, I didn't even realize I was thinking that, right?
Okay, that's really cool. So I'm hearing some of what I'm hearing you say, if I understand it correctly, it's like we can do some of these things anytime, right? Going to
Mhm.
nature, walking, journaling. But if we're doing some of it in alignment with the planets where they're positioned, it can really enhance or amplify. Is that, am I understanding correctly or
Yeah,
not?
I'd say that's true, because I mean, right now it's like the universe is kind of supporting us in doing that. So
Okay.
it's giving us a little extra ability to go a little bit deeper, to yeah, and it's also giving us a little bit more space to do that as well. Because at other times of the year, there are other aspects, other planets are involved, and they may be distracting our attention, taking us elsewhere, right?
It's never
So
happened to me. No, I'm just
yeah,
kidding.
right.
I'm just kidding. No, that's awesome. That's really fascinating. Um, You mentioned 2 eclipses. What Can you talk just a little bit more about that and what eclipse energy means for someone or can mean?
Yeah. Yeah, so the first one is going to be happening on March 14th, and that's a lunar eclipse.
Okay.
And it's an exciting one, actually, because this is for the last couple of years, all of the eclipses have been in the Pisces Libra axis, but this one is the first one in the next series of about a year and a half, where all the eclipses will
Wow.
start to be in the Virgo Pisces axis. So basically what that means is it's going to be more about how we're in service to ourselves,
Mhm.
how we're in touch with our spirituality on the Pisces side. And in the Virgo side, it's more physical in relation to our body, to our health. How are we taking care of ourselves? Are we putting ourselves second, or are we making
Mm.
ourselves a priority? Right.
Okay.
So with this lunar eclipse, it's more about the emotional aspect and having kind of emotional downloads come in. And that, if you're not taking good care of yourself, that sometimes it can mean getting sick, because
Mhm.
you need that space. You need to give yourself that space and that time to kind of tap into that. But it's a great, like, again, it's a great time to take that back, especially, or do anything that kind of brings you into alignment with both the physical and gives your mind a rest, so that you can connect with the heart and the spiritual as
Okay.
well.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful, Kathy. So I just want to say to our viewers, like if anybody's struggling with that self-care or, taking the time to do it, Kathy and the planets are giving you permission right now to do that. So take the walk,
Absolutely.
take the
Yeah.
bath, right? One last
So
astro question. Oh, go ahead. You're going to say
I'm
something?
sorry, there's a second eclipse that I haven't talked about yet, which is also happening in March.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Great.
so that's at the end of the month on the 29th, and that's going to be a jam-packed loaded day, because that's a solar eclipse. It's the
Okay.
last, it's the last one in the Pisces Libra axis. So there's that, but there's also, it's happening together with Neptune, the North Node, and Venus being right together, right next to where that's happening. So that kind of brings in the heart and like love for
Mhm.
self, as well as love for the collective, and like unconditional love. It brings that in. And it's happening at the point where Saturn is right between the moon and the sun. So that is like, okay, I'm loving myself, or like, it's how can I love myself better? How can I connect with the collective in a more authentic, beautiful way? And how can I make it real? How can I like make that concrete in my life? Whether it's doing a random act of kindness every day for someone, or for myself, right?
Okay.
Yeah, it's not only about others, but it's about the self as well. So so that's what's coming in on with this eclipse on the 29th. It's really powerful.
That's awesome. I can see how like excited and lit up you get about talking about this. Like you're so passionate. And I think that must really come through with clients too and assisting them that, you've been doing it for so many years and there's so much passion. And you answering this part about the second eclipse, you kind of stole my thunder on one of the questions I was going to ask you. So I don't know if there's any more to it. And you touched on it because we talk about taking care of ourselves, but also how this affects the collective, right? So is there anything else related in the coming forecasting or just in astrology in general and how we can support the collective if that's, what we're called to do or desire?
Yeah. Yeah. I think one of the and it's going to sound a little bit ironic because it's actually not going out in the world and doing things as much. It's more, the, behind everything that we do, behind everything that happens, there's always energy, right?
Right.
We're all part of this large energy field. And we don't, I think, sometimes give enough credit to how powerful that is and how
Mm-hmm.
powerful doing energy work is. So I think what we can do to support the collective in this time, because again, we're going back and forth between that collective love, that collective where do we want to be, that dreaming in the new reality, in a sense, for
Mm-hmm.
humanity, and then making it real when everything goes into Aries, taking the initiative, right? So what we can do now is like get a real clear picture in your mind of what do I want humanity to look like down to the detail. Like, is there going to be a military, or are we going to have a Department of Peace, as Marianne Williamson writes about, right? And
Uh-huh.
who's going to head that, and what activities are they going to do? Can you
Mm-hmm.
maybe envision that activity that's going on in the community, and see who's there, see what they're doing, what activities are they doing, how are the youth involved, how are our elders being treated there, all of that stuff. Just making it as clear as possible in your mind, and then feeling that love that comes when you see that, sending
Mm-hmm.
that out through your heart. That I think is the most powerful thing we can do this year, actually, all year long, because these dance back and forth of the planets is happening from
Mm-hmm.
now until 2026.
Okay.
So yeah, doing this like from now until next year, as often as we can, that's the way we can have the most influence on for the collective. And then, in our day-to-day lives, again, doing those little acts of kindness, even if it's just
Mm-hmm.
smiling at someone who's looking grumpy on the street or whatever, you know?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful, Kathy. And I really feel like you're just channeling validation for me and what I've been doing without consciously understanding that. That visioning for myself, but for the future and for the new reality, or I like to call it new earth. I've been spending a lot of time the last couple of months just focused on that and continuing. And I took a dance class or years ago by a woman, a mentor, not so much dance, but it's called Divine Moves. And she's also an astrologer, actually, but she would bring in these movements of Tai Chi and Reiki and other things and bringing energy into ourselves when we're dancing and then sharing it out to the collective. And when you did that hand movement, you reminded me of her and how like all things are connected, like you just thank you for that. I hope it, unlocked something for other people. So thank you. I really appreciate it. And I want to shift gears so we don't run out of time because you do more than just astrology, like you shared in the beginning, right? Tell us a
Right.
little bit more about your work with or what you offer at the Eagle Condor Center and your workshops.
Yeah, yeah. So we do a lot of hands-on workshops where, like I said, we're doing a lot of different activities, and a lot of it, especially on the retreats that we do, it's out in nature. Not
Mm,
all of it, but part of it at least. So we'll do different activities where we're connecting with, say, the water and releasing emotions into the water, and at the same time purifying the waters on the earth as we do that, because again, it's all connected. So when we do our work, we're also helping the earth. So
mhm,
sending those blessings out. And then with the fire, with the wind, with the earth, of course, as well. We'll connect with the moon and bring in that mothering, nurturing energy. So it's very beautiful. It's very energetic. It's very beautiful, and it's very in the here and now.
mhm.
And yeah, and then we do, of course, a lot of other activities in terms of, like, the creative things, the writing, the energy work. The Reiki is part of it.
Mhm.
We'll usually bring in some astrology to it as well, and kind of give people an overview of what's going on and how they can work with
Nice.
it. So yeah, it's a hodgepodge of things, but it's really about connecting with the self, connecting with the tribe as well, because
Mhm,
the Incas, which is the native teachings that we follow,
mhm.
those are very focused on community and,
Okay.
sacred reciprocity as well. So
Nice.
you learn about that as well, and how to do that in your own life, and then, with the collective, with your tribes as well. So
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, that sounds beautiful. It sounds very nourishing, as I listen to you speak and working with the elements in that way. So you do that in Virginia, correct? Different workshops. And then you take people to Peru as well periodically? Tell us a little
Yeah,
bit about that.
yeah. So we of course go to Machu Picchu. I mean, you have to do that. But we also there are many, many sacred sites
Okay.
in the Sacred Valley, which is basically the valley between Cusco and Machu Picchu.
Mhm,
There, so we go to many of these different sites, and we do a lot of the same work that we do in the retreats. We do in the actual sites where the Incas did it.
oh, wow.
Yeah, and amazing things happen because you'll connect with a portal, for example, and just, you'll be there meditating with it, and then all of a sudden this vision will come in with the answer to whatever problem that you've been having in your life. And how, like, we've had people who they went as mailmen, and then they came back, like, with an inspiration to change their home into an Airbnb in a historic area in
Oh, wow.
Manassas, Virginia, and they did that. And
Wow.
yeah, yeah, and then there's another woman who, she came in kind of, um, with a lot of trauma because she was involved in Hurricane Katrina back in New Orleans in,
Okay.
10 years ago or 15 years ago now,
Mhm.
and she got an inspiration from that she wanted to start a whole, like, one of those spiritual programs where they put on different events and bring in, like, all these different vendors and workshops and all that stuff. And she's got this huge, she runs Karma Fest. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of that.
No.
But anyway, they do events I don't know, every couple of months in
Okay.
Maryland, Virginia, Pennsylvania, and they bring in just hundreds of people doing all kinds of different practices. And,
Oh,
and so
cool.
that all started in Peru with her. So
Oh,
it's amazing.
really? That's
Yeah.
cool. I'm gonna have to check it
Yeah.
out. I'm gonna be in Maryland for 6 weeks in another starting at the end of the month. So, thank you for that tip. Always looking for some networking. That's good. What do you love most about taking people to Peru?
I think the transformations that happen,
Mhm.
yeah, and just, helping people to, because I mean, I was just seeing so many times that people will, like, go in not knowing what they want to do, or how to do it, and then something about being there in Peru brings in the information that they need to know, and then
Okay.
they're able to actually do it. So
Okay.
I don't know how that works, but I love it.
But it works. That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
really cool. Let me ask you a little deeper question, and you've touched on this, but we live in a world right now where there's so much upheaval and transition, or transformation, just with the energies going on. People who are struggling with that, not everyone is, some are. What can they do to keep their vibration higher or their frequency higher and live their best lives during this?
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough, and and honestly, it's something that I struggle with too. But I think probably the most important thing they can do is try to take their focus and shift it so that instead of focusing on all the problems so that everything that's going wrong in my life, I can start looking for what's going right, even if it's just fact that I can breathe and
Hmm.
or the fact that I turn on the water and it runs,
Yeah.
and just shifting that focus, shifting and kind of forcing yourself to pay attention to all the little things that are going right, and then maybe saying a little just thank you universe for that I have heat in my house or air conditioning or whatever it is.
Hmm.
Um, and just doing that consistently will start to shift you. Um, and if you can't do that, then something else you can do is try to just do something kind for somebody else. Because
Okay.
sometimes we're so stuck in our own heads that if we can get out of that and start just focusing on somebody else for a minute, it gives our brain a break. So we're not, doing that constant thinking, and we
Yeah.
can start, and just that act and helping someone creates a shift as well. So doing that on a regular basis if you can.
That's
Um,
great. Yeah,
yeah.
no, I appreciate it because it's those really simple, small tweaks that can have a big effect. And I feel like sometimes we lose sight of that because we're always looking for the next big thing, right? So thank
Yeah.
you.
And the astrology as well. I think Michelle mentioned that we're running a 6-week course on that which we're going to be doing. It's already started, but we're going to be doing more. So you can find just by looking, at the very basics of your astrology, you can find the little things that you can do to help yourself. Even if it's, see, I hate going to my job, but I really need to be inspired. So I can put like a little magic, a picture of a butterfly or something that I can just look at
Hmm.
and just connect with that every so often, every hour or so, whatever. Just little things like that can make such a huge difference.
I like that. And thank you for that reminder. Tell me a little bit more about the course. Michelle didn't get into depth. Is it a course where you're reading for a group of people at a time? Or are you teaching them how to read? Give,
We're teaching them how to understand their own chart. Um,
oh, okay.
yeah. So it's really just the basics, but from a vibrational astrology perspective. What are the houses? What are the planets? What do they do? What are the
Mhm.
signs? And then we'll go into, what does it mean when the planets connect to each other? A little bit on the vibrations, and then a little bit on the transit, so you can connect what's going on in the world today with me personally and how that affects me. So that's
Okay.
that's it in a nutshell.
All right. No, that's great because I think most people are interested, selfishly, and me too, on m- me. Like, how does it affect me? And then from there, we can work our way out. Right. So that's great. If people are interested in that or other ways of working with you, Kathy, what are the best ways to find you?
Oh, probably my website would be the easiest way,
Okay.
which is Eagle, well, https://www eaglecondorcenter.org.
Okay. Awesome. And I'll put that in the notes. And if you're watching this live or on YouTube, it'll be in the show notes so you can easily find Kathy and the programs that she does because they all sound really wonderful. Like I'm raring to go. Any other things that you would like to share that I didn't ask about your work, about the energies, anything that's on your
Yeah, actually, I was talking about retreats and I forgot to mention
okay.
if if anyone is in the Virginia area or in Maryland or anywhere close to that area and you're looking for a retreat, we are actually offering one the weekend of March 15th and 16th, which is when this energy, well, which is when the eclipse is happening and Mercury is going
Oh wow.
retrograde. So it's like the best time. It's like I couldn't program better energy for this.
That's
So
awesome. Well, we better get
so
this
yeah,
out soon then so people have
yeah. So
time.
definitely check that out. It's going to be at a beautiful, beautiful retreat center that's got just little like alcoves for all the different
Mhm.
spiritual traditions, and it's out in
Ooh.
nature, and it's amazing. So if you can join us, we would love, love, love to have you. March
That's
15th,
awesome. That
16th.
sounds really beautiful. And any other things that come to mind that you want to share about your work, about the astrology, about people? And if not, we can just keep moving on.
Yeah. No, I mean, just if you want to experience your astrology, I would love to help you do that. And I just want to thank you and all of your listeners for sticking through to the end and hearing all this too. And yeah,
No, that's awesome. I really appreciate you being here, Kathy. It's really been delightful, and I really love your passion and your authenticity that comes through about this work, because I know that in my own experience that's been missing working with not just astrology, but different types of healers or whatever. People get burnt out or not, but you're so in it right now. It just feels so good. So I know that if anybody comes to see you, they'll definitely benefit. I wanted to ask you one more question that kind of off the related, but off the beaten path to all the others. What's your definition of consciousness?
mm, that's a tough one. I think I think I would say probably just knowing, being aware of what you're focusing on in the current moment, or just are aware of around you. Um, and yeah, what is not buried, but kind of at the surface level in a way. Um, and it's kind of it's also where you are on a vibrational sense too, like who you're aligning with, because
Mhm.
you tend to align with people who are at a similar vibration as you. So it's very connected with the vibration that you're on as well. That's not a very succinct answer.
No, that's okay, and I know I threw that at you. I was just curious. I think it's going to evolve into a theme question for people. Maybe I'll give it to them in advance. I don't know, but it just came through again, and I appreciate you playing with me and, um, sharing your thoughts on that. But Kathy, like I said, it's been delightful. It's been really great. I hope people that will reach out to you, in Virginia or Peru, I wanna go to that next Peru one, so I'm gonna vision it for myself and like tap in so I can create that reality. It just sounds all really lovely. So thank you again for your time, your energy, and your presence today.
Thank you, Kat. Thank you very much for the invitation. And yeah, I really appreciate you and what you're doing and how you're helping so many people with this
Oh,
show as well.
oh, thanks. And to all of our listeners, thank you for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye bye for now.
Bye.